So this Zoom specifically, I'm going to talk about the book that we received from Ruby's on the Rise. This was Genevieve's Stories recommendation. She did most of our training. And if you were at Momentum Meetup, she was at the very end. She's so energetic, so good at social media and social media skills. So I really want to do that maybe on our next Zoom, talk about some of those skills that we learned. But tonight I thought it would be really helpful to go dive into this book for 10 minutes. And then we'll get to the product. I'll leave you guys hanging. So this book, I don't know if you guys, last week's Zoom, Emily and Roxanne talked about the group chat that we're doing. So if you're in there, it's really encouraging. If you're not, jump in it. Highly recommend. Really good. Just keeping you accountable. And part of that has been, we've been reaching out to new people, having more conversations. And this book is all about how to have that conversation. It's one thing to say that you want to talk to, 10 new people. Okay, what do I say? How do I get them to respond? How, do I not just let the conversation kind of run dry? And this book is exactly what got me there. So I'll start with a quote from John Maxwell, because this was one that I also wrote down from Ruby's on the Rise. And I just felt like it was perfect for tonight. 10% is what happens. 90% is your reaction to it. So we can't control that 10%. Things are going to happen. People are going to say what they're going to say, but it's our reaction that is 90%. It's our energy. It's questions. It's building relationships. Rylee always talks about this, is being a human in those conversations and making sure that this is a two-way street. We don't want to just throw a whole bunch of information at them and, they're like, whoa, this is way too much. So that's why I'm going to dive into this book just a little bit, nothing too crazy. But it really goes into the fact that the things we say speak to our subconscious. So even though you may not know it, what you're saying is giving energy. It's making people react a certain way. And if you can, here, hang on, time out. We got to admit all these people. Okay. Pause. I don't want them to miss this because I'm about to really dive in. Okay. So we're having these conversations. We're building our business. We're doing all of these good things. We've talked about it in the chat. Our team is holding us accountable. But when we get into those conversations, what does it look like? So part of that, what I was saying, is our subconscious and what we say and how it comes off. So this book is so good because it talks about how we rely on our subconscious brain daily to get us through everything that happens without having to process, compute, or take care of all the decisions by ourselves. So in those conversations, what we really want to do is make it so it's an easy choice. We make it so the other person doesn't have to put much thought into it without overwhelming them with too much information. Your excitement about the product is amazing, but they haven't, mostly you're talking to new people. They haven't experienced it yet. They don't even know what they're getting into. So we're trying to make it a really easy decision for them. And I've actually been using some of this language today, and just to experiment. I mean, literally pulling it exactly out of this book, and 10 out of 10 people that I have contacted today have responded really well. So it's working for me. But then it goes into just how to frame things. And one that I've used a lot today is having an open mind. So how open-minded would you be about trying this product? Or how open-minded would you be to giving this a chance? I think one of my conversations today was how open-minded would you be to hearing more about how Plexus could help you? So it's when we're in these conversations, we really want to continue to ask the other person questions. You want to guide them in the conversation to where you want it to go. You don't just want to let them free fall. You don't want to say things like, do you have any more questions? Because 9 times out of 10, they're going to say no. And it's not even that they maybe don't have questions. It's just sometimes that language can be really intimidating. So another thing, I know a lot of people maybe get this feedback from people. Maybe they're already think they're an expert. They already take supplements. Maybe they don't, they're like, I don't need that. I don't have those problems. And just following up with like, well, what would make you think that you don't have any gut health issues? Or, kind of challenge them on their thought process too. So that's been a really good one. I have so many things highlighted in this book. And then this is examples of just ways to keep the conversation going, and how to incentivize people and paint that picture. We talk a lot about vision casting, right? Especially people on your team. How would you feel if this decision led to something great for you? How would you feel if this really turned things around for you? Painting that picture, showing them the positives. Again, we're leading the conversation with really good questions, and building connection with them. When you're asking these types of questions, you're finding more out about that person and how you can better help them in their health journey. And I think there was one more thing I had tagged, and we'll move on. Examples. Oh, yes. Okay. This is the final part. So you've had this conversation with somebody, you felt like it was going great, and then they started to ghost you. Or maybe they just said, I don't have time right now. This is a really good follow-up to someone that's maybe done that, or someone who could really benefit, and they're on your list. You're like, this person, it's calling, it's on my heart, you need it. Saying things like, I'm guessing maybe this isn't the right time for you. Could you tell me how we could help, or how I could help you? Or, just leading with that kind of question of like, what would help you make this decision? So just really trying to, hone in on what will help them, and continuing with the conversation, not just throwing a bunch of information out there. I find this with so many people who I'm helping go silver. They've started the products. They're so excited. They've lost 10 pounds. They want to tell everyone around them, and they send 50 messages and nobody messages them back. And we did the 3-way conversation, and they're like, where do I go? How do I pick this back up? This book, highly recommend, but I will drop some of these prompts maybe in the Facebook group, so you guys can pick up some of these too from this book. But really good language, and definitely recommend just having those conversations with people and getting in an accountability chat, whether it's in ours, within your team. So good. So that way, when you get knocked down and you have a bad, because all conversations don't go well. When you have that bad one, you have someone there to pick you up, and you have the right tools, so that the next one goes a little better. So that is that. And then we're going to move into the product of today, because we're sticking with the 10-10-10. Ran over a little bit, but we're all good. Greens. Y'all, if you do not take greens, you are missing out. This is the one product, I'm telling you, that I take, and my bloating feels different later. Within an hour, probably, I feel different after I take greens. And it's not an energy feeling. It's not a slim feeling. Like, this is like, I just ate something really good that my body loves. So I'm going to go over maybe some of the things that you didn't know were in greens that I was blown away. Apple cider vinegar. I'm sure you guys have all heard the craze of, take a shot of apple cider vinegar, or like, it helps with inflammation. It helps with, and it does help with all of those things. But how amazing is it that we have a product that not only has apple cider vinegar in it, but also has all of the other good stuff too. So Plexus isn't dropping the ball. The kombucha blend is what I'm talking about. It has ginger, kombucha, green tea. I mean, just all of these really good things that your gut needs. And when you feed your gut the good stuff, your products, your triplex is going to work even better, right? It's a really good partner product with someone who is taking triplex. And the way that I take it, This was recommended to me by Miss Leah Weldy. If you're on here, I think you're on here. I actually make a cocktail. So I do Slim, I do blueberry hydrate and greens, and then sometimes I'll throw my active in there too. But you don't taste them at all. They taste delicious. But that's how I mix them. I've mixed them with all the Slims. I think greens taste good with every Slim. So that's how I would recommend to someone who is taking the triplex, maybe had some success, maybe they're kind of plateauing, which we find, you know, it happens. Great product to add on. And then I had actually Googled AG greens, because sure you guys see that all over the place. I'm sure you guys see Bloom greens all over the place. Plexus is better, and the price point is way cheaper than AG greens, and it's actually cheaper than Bloom too by like 50 cents. So totally right there with the competitors in greens. And I was looking at AG greens and all the extra stuff that is in there. I mean, you look on the back of Plexus's greens and it says things that I can understand, right? Organic kale leaf, broccoli, carrot root, right? Spinach, things that I understand, right? So I pull up AG greens, and it's having to give me names in parentheses on the side. It's telling me, what is this? There was something I was like, what in the world? Lycium berry fruit extract, ginger rhizomes. I mean, like, that is not, how hard is that to sell? Like, you think about that, and then I think about what is on the back of the greens container, and I'm like, it's literally a no-brainer. The price point, and just partnering it with the triplex is really life-changing. So I also get a lot of questions, sorry, on my weight loss. I feel like things really changed when I started to incorporate greens. I feel like I was at a plateau, and my body really just needed more nutrients. I needed more leafy greens. I needed more of what was in here, because when you are dieting, a lot of times you are not eating as much, you know, not maybe you are trying to eat healthy. And that looks different for everybody. You know, if you're doing the whole chicken and rice thing, I mean, I'm sure you're missing out on your vegetables. And I think like 92 or something percent, I was looking at this earlier, someone can fact check me, of people do not get the full serving of vegetables a day that they need. So that is greens, definitely recommend. And with that, I am going to introduce our guest tonight, Rylee Reedy. I know she's amazing. We have always connected, but never in person. So it was so good to spend time with her at Ruby's on the Rise. We were so blessed to have our team, you know, people from our team there with us. So me, Rylee, and Amanda, we got so much good quality time with each other, with Plexus Corporate. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to her.
Hello, everyone. So I am Rylee Reedy. I am a Ruby ambassador with Plexus, and this is my story. So let's take it back all the way. I started in June of 2020, but here is my reason. So when I was 17, my plan A was to go into the Air Force. I was down to going to MEPS, which is like a physical training to make sure that everything is working and functioning properly. And then I got back a positive test. I was pregnant at 17. So obviously you can't go into the Air Force while you're pregnant. So I didn't have a plan B. I didn't know what to do. So I just worked my butt off at a ice cream parlor in small town, Waseon, Ohio. And I ended up getting enough up saved so I could be okay when my baby came. But then I started back to work when I was 3 months postpartum at a small business in Ohio. And it was like a restaurant. And I was just hosting at the time. because I wanted to get my foot in the door to serve, and you had to be 19, and I had just turned 18. So I started hosting, and then 2.5 months into that job, COVID happened and I lost my job. I was out of work for 5 months, and like anyone else, I ate my feelings and I just sat on the couch and watched Netflix and binged and, all the nastiness. And I ended up gaining more weight. And so I was up 40 pounds, and I was so used to having my teenage body that seeing myself in the mirror, like I not being able to recognize myself really hurt. Because I was always confident in high school. Like I never had problems with weight and I was always okay. But after that, I really just, my self-image was just tanked. So sorry, I wrote down a bunch of stuff because I don't want to forget anything. So I tried to lose the weight in all the ways. I dieted, I exercised, I tried It Works products before Plexus, and it did not work for me. Not to mention the apple cider things are absolutely disgusting. Yeah. I tried a water diet, which was I would, instead of eating when I was hungry, I would drink water, I would chug water. And obviously, I started to get hungry even after that. So I ate again. And so to stop myself from eating, this is gross, I would soak cotton balls in water and I would eat those because I tried to lose weight that bad. I was at that point. Yeah, so that was not a happy place for me. So then I was contacted for the first time by my sponsor, Tanner Ely, well, Puler now. She was like a sister to me growing up, and she was like, hey, do you want to do this with me? And like anyone, I was super skeptical. And mind you, I was also unemployed at the time. So, but you know what? I said yes anyway, because I was like, why not? Jump all in. But I did need to get my products paid for. So I had to do everything I could to get 3 friends or 9 friends. So I got my first few people. I went silver, I went fast start silver, and then I went fast start senior silver. And then from there, I just kind of stopped selling. And then I ended up losing 10 pounds within that first 6 months. And then the second 6 months, this is where it kind of gets crazy, I lost the remaining 30 pounds. I had a breakup in there. So I don't know if it was also stress that I was losing weight, but I have belief in the products. So I can just say it was the products. And then I almost immediately moved on after that breakup because I was so emotionally done with my ex, well, my baby daddy, that I was like, okay, I need someone else to fill the void. And so I started dating again, and I met my boyfriend, Chris, and soon after I got pregnant with baby number 2. And then I got pregnant with baby number 2. I started a job as a waitress at Texas Roadhouse, and I was like, oh yeah, Texas Roadhouse. I always wanted to live or work there. I was in Toledo. I moved from Wasion to Toledo, so I needed a job. And I was like, oh my gosh, I get to say the whole yeehaw, let's get on the saddle. And I was super excited about it. Eat all the bread I could want. And then I got my tax return back or my like W-2, and it said that I had made almost half the income that I was at a small town business than I was at a corporate job. So that really like to me, and it was hard. And then came Super Saturday. Super Saturday is in January, and I will forever go to it from now on. It's a virtual event. The person that really spoke to me was Rylee. He got on that stage. I was at Brooke Kleberger's house, and we were sitting at her house, and I'm sitting there writing some notes on her couch, and he's like, "What's it going to take for you to say yes to your dreams?" He said that, and it like was just speaking straight to me. And because I was already feeling all the emotions. I was 6 months pregnant, and I was going through some health things. While I was working at Texas Roadhouse, I ended up developing syncope, which, if you don't know, it's where your blood pressure just plummets at random times and you faint. So I was fainting at work. I actually had someone catch me as I was falling onto concrete at Texas Roadhouse, and I still had to finish my shift that day. That was hard. And then afterwards, I went to the ER and got some potassium put in me, and they just told me, like, we can't fix you. So I had to quit my job. But the reason why I quit my job was because Rylee poured that into me. He said, "What's it going to take for you to do this? Like, stop putting this on the back burner. Just go and do it." So that's what I did. I ended up crying, bawling my eyes out at Super Saturday to Brooke. And I'm like, I texted my boyfriend. I was like, "I think I need to quit my job." And he was like, "Okay, like, do what you need to do." And that just like solidified everything, because in the moment we were also struggling with money. So, like, obviously, because I was not making enough there. And he was like, "Do what you need to do." So I went in and I told my boss, I was like, "This is my last shift." And he's like, "Okay." He's like, "That's fine." I was like, I need to do something for my health and my wellness. And so I just full on, like, pedal to the metal, went for it. And in January, I actually had 29 points. I ended the month with 29 points. And then in February, I ended the month with 294 points. And then in March, I ended with 656 points. So I grew by a lot in just 2 months. And that was just because I just poured and poured and poured everything into my team, because I don't want to see my team as going like this. I want it to see like going like this. Like, I want to link arms with everyone on my team and just go up together. And I think that's a big thing, is everyone needs to feel like they have that hope and like they can get there, because there is no way that I should be successful right now. No way. I was 17 and pregnant. I had no plan B. And here I am with all of you. I get to speak to you guys and pour this into you. Like, this is just amazing to me. Right, yeah. Yeah, so, and then I maintained that 600 point range until July, and then obviously everyone hits the curve, and hopefully we are on the uphill now. So it's just getting through the discouragement and pushing your team to be their best selves, because everyone needs hope. And if you can't have the hope in yourself, I'll have it for you. Okay.
Rylee, I don't know if you shared this. How did you say you afforded to get started?
I had a little bit saved up, and so that was, I think I had like $200 to my name, and I was like going for it. I was like, just put it all in. If it works, it works. If not, oh well, I can get my money back.
If you didn't know what a 7 on the Enneagram was, ladies and gentlemen, Rylee is a 7 on the Enneagram. All about the experience. It doesn't matter if it sucks. She was here for it. Okay. Oh my goodness. That was fantastic. Thank you guys both for hosting this and leading this. Kaitlyn, I will let you wrap us up.
Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you, Emily, Brooke, Leah, all of our amazing leaders who have just set us up for success. And I hope that you can see that from me and Rylee as well, that we also want to set our teams up for success. So like Rylee said, link arms, have those conversations. You have no clue what someone else is going through. I say this all the time. When you have a conversation and someone maybe is rude, or someone, you don't get the response that you thought, you have no clue what's going on the other side of that screen of that conversation that you're having. So try again. Just have compassion for people, show love. I always say kill them with kindness, because that's how you get ahead. And that's why I love Plexus, the One Plexus just community, because we all come together like that. There's no drama. It's not, it's not like that. It's linking arms. It's finding your people, your community. And I saw that at a Momentum meetup this week. I don't know if you guys went to a Momentum meetup, but I felt it in our room. I'm sure you felt it in your room, just that community. So I thank you guys for being here. Come back next week. I think we're going to do it again if Emily will let us back. So anyways, we'll link some resources, and this is also recorded, so it will be in the Facebook group. Have a good night, guys.